Is the Oracle's guardian Seraph an angel? Were Kid and Commander Locke both casualties of war following the Matrix revolutions? How did the Analyst rise to power? These are all questions that could be answered in future spin-offs. Though Trinity is killed at the end of the third Matrix movie, she and Neo get a new chance at life in the Matrix Resurrections, as it's later revealed that the machines resurrected both of them in order to support the Analyst's version of the Matrix. Furthermore, Trinity goes through a major development in the film when she learns that she too now has the powers of the One. While the first Matrix does provide some clues to Trinity's past, explaining that she was once a master hacker, not much else has been revealed about her early days, but a prequel could do a lot to fill in those blanks. Carrie-Anne Moss has even teased some of her own ideas about Trinity's origins in interviews. For example, she told GQ that she believes the character was freed from the Matrix at an early age. Trinity's greatest hacking triumphs could be depicted in this spin-off, along with her many encounters with Agent Smith, who, in Revolutions, claims to have failed in capturing her more than any other human. Alternately, while it's almost a certainty that Trinity would be the co-star of any potential follow-ups to Resurrections, that doesn't mean she couldn't star in a solo sequel adventure too. Originally portrayed by Lawrence Fishburne, Morpheus is a character who captures viewers' attention every time he's on screen, and often when he's not. The captain of the Nebuchadnezzar is everything you'd want from a leader. Wise, warm, strong, and never without hope. Without Morpheus's faith in the One, Neo might never have been freed from the Matrix. And it's that same belief that prevents further bloodshed in Zion after he realizes Neo and the machines have allied against Agent Smith. That same faith, however, can also be somewhat of an Achilles heel for Morpheus. In the Matrix Resurrections, Niobe explains that it caused him to underestimate the looming threat of the Analyst, while Resurrections suggests Morpheus was a casualty of the ensuing machine attack. The movie sees Neo create a youthful AI version of his mentor, played by Yahya Abdul-Mateen II.
At last.
The great thing about a possible Morpheus spin-off is that there's already a fair amount of backstory to work with. Elements from his past mentioned in the Matrix comics could be expanded upon, along with the beginning of his relationship and falling out with Niobe, not to mention his time as High Chair of the Zion Council. Similarly, the origins of Abdul-Mateen's half-Morpheus, half-Smith replica could also be explored, and a post-Resurrection spin-off starring that version of Morpheus has a lot of promise too. Niobe is one of the undeniable standout characters of the Matrix sequels, and one of the patron saints of the Matrix spin-offs thanks to her star turn in the 2003 video game Enter the Matrix. A fearless leader with a calm yet commanding presence, she remains by far one of the best contenders for a Matrix spin-off. Being the only character from the original Resistance to appear in the Matrix Resurrections other than Trinity and Neo, Niobe has a wealth of story possibilities worth exploring. A spin-off starring the character could explore her early days in Zion or the original Matrix, or it could reveal in detail the events that occurred between Revolutions and Resurrections. More specifically, it might focus on the formation of Io, Zion's successor, and Niobe's rise to become its leader. True to his name, Ghost doesn't appear as often as his captain Niobe in the second and third Matrix movies, but he gets an enormous amount of screen time in Enter the Matrix, in which he and Niobe are the two playable characters. An avid student of philosophy with a wry sense of humor and an otherwise no-nonsense demeanor, Ghost would be a great candidate for more Matrix spin-offs. A prequel series to the original trilogy could show how Ghost ends up joining Niobe on the Logos, and how he becomes such an expert shot, as well as the origins of his unrequited crush on Trinity. Conversely, a spin-off set after the first three films could reveal what happened to him in the more than 60-year gap before Resurrections, including how he handles the news of Trinity's demise. Perhaps his heroics in Revolutions even earn him a ship of his own. The Matrix's most notorious agent, Smith, proves you can't keep a bad program down in Resurrections, in which he's reincarnated as a new identity as Thomas Anderson's boss and business partner. Smith and Neo's mutual hatred of the Analyst leads the two to briefly join forces near the movie's end, and the notorious agent lets his own boss know exactly how he feels by filling him with bullets. Once Smith has accomplished his objective, he leaves Neo and Trinity to be hunted down by the Analyst's legion of bots.
You know the difference between us, Tom? Anyone could have been you.
Whereas I've always been anyone.
This begs the question, where did he go? A Smith spin-off could answer that question, showcasing his activities after Resurrections. Just what plot will he come up with next to fight the Architect and keep his freedom? Will he be a friend or a foe when Neo and Trinity decide to remake the Matrix as they promised to do at the end of Resurrections? While future Matrix movies would likely answer those questions, a spin-off could surely delve further into the details. Another option would be to explore Smith's activities in the previous version of the Matrix from the original trilogy, which could allow Hugo Weaving to return to the role. Better yet, a Smith project could go back even further in time, revealing whether or not the earlier iterations of the Matrix included a version of Smith to balance out their versions of the One, a subject of much debate among fans. Bugs is the captain of the Nemesis in the Matrix Resurrections, as well as the Red Pill, who frees Neo from the Matrix's latest reincarnation. Brave, good-humored, and not one for following orders when she feels they're wrong, Bugs would be a perfect candidate for a Matrix spin-off. Given how her Matrix extraction occurs not too long before she does the same for Neo, it wouldn't be necessary to de-age the character digitally for a prequel, provided it focuses on Bugs as a young adult. Be it a prequel or a sequel, however, Jessica Henwick could easily slip back into the role, and Resurrections shows that Bugs is well known for heading out on solo missions too. That said, the spin-off could also spotlight her Nemesis crewmates to flesh them out further, more clearly establishing how each of them relates with their captain. Though purged from the Matrix sometime before Resurrections, the Oracle is far from forgotten. Morpheus tells Neo in the Matrix that the Oracle has sided with Zion since the human rebellion began. However, the Architect reveals in Reloaded that her existence extends back even further, as she helped him create the first successful version of the machine's simulated reality. Given that there have been 7 versions of the Matrix and the initial 2 failed, the Oracle might have been around as far back as the 3rd Matrix, meaning she has a wealth of backstory ripe for exploration. A prequel spin-off starring the Oracle could answer many long-standing mysteries, such as what the other iterations of the Matrix were like, how she met her bodyguard Seraph, and when she first rebelled against the Architect. It could also feature Neo's predecessors, since each Matrix the Oracle co-created also contained its own version of the One. The character would likely be recast, as her original actor, Gloria Foster, passed away, while her second actor, Mary Alice, hasn't worked in entertainment media for some time. Not that a sequel spin-off is out of the question, however. The Merovingian does explain in Revolutions that the Oracle can give her eyes to others. Could she have passed them on to a successor? The Matrix movies have dropped countless hints about the mysterious program known as Seraph. In the Matrix Revolutions, he's referred to as Wingless by one of the Merovingian's enforcers. The Merv himself even reveals later on that the two have a past association. While it's unclear whether Seraph ever actually had wings, this clue, as well as his white costume and biblical name, suggests he may have at one point been an angel within the Matrix. This theory is further supported when the Merovingian calls him the angel without his wings in French. Seraph may even be a seraphim, who were once the agents of the Paradise Matrix. Interestingly, he almost starred in what became the Matrix Path of Neo video game. Though that story wasn't to be, it doesn't mean Seraph can't get another chance at a spin-off. In addition to examining his true nature and past with the Merovingian, the spin-off could uncover why Seraph is absent from the first Matrix movie, despite the Oracle's claim that he's been her bodyguard for some time. It could also depict his battles with Agent Smith, whom, in Revolutions, Seraph claims he has defeated in the past.
You do not truly know someone until you fight them.
Neo is always shown to be uncomfortable with the hero worship he receives from many of Zion's inhabitants, which is one of the reasons he finds Kid particularly difficult to be around. Since meeting Neo on the day he freed himself from the Matrix, Kid has idolized humanity's prophesized savior, and he clearly states his intention to one day serve aboard the Nebuchadnezzar, a prospect nobody on the ship is too thrilled about. Still, he proves to be a pretty remarkable person himself in Zion's battle against the machines by helping Captain Mifune reload while fighting off Sentinels. After a timely save from Z, he also gives the hammer the opening it needs to re-enter Zion. Kid appears in The Matrix Online afterwards, helming a ship fittingly called Neo's Hope. Oddly, he's not present in Resurrections, despite being significantly younger than most of the major characters in the first 3 movies. It's possible he was one of the many casualties from the machine's renewed war on Zion, of course, but nobody can know for sure. A spin-off could easily tie up this loose end, however, and show Kid further coming into his own as a hero after Revolutions. Jason Locke is introduced in The Matrix Reloaded as Morpheus's opposite. He's a hardened pragmatist who neither believes in the One nor has any love lost for Morpheus, the man who once dated his lover Niobe. Though arguably an effective tactician and leader of Zion's forces in the real world, Locke's disdain for Morpheus and his beliefs often cloud his judgment, causing him to repeatedly underestimate Neo's importance in the war against the machines. Though he becomes an important figure in The Matrix Online, Locke is not seen in Resurrections, suggesting his relationship with Niobe at one point ended for any number of reasons, perhaps even his demise. A spin-off featuring him could shed some light on his fate and reveal whether or not his contentious relationship with Morpheus improved after Neo saved Zion. It would also be an opportunity to humanize Locke and make him more sympathetic, as he is somewhat of an antagonistic figure in the original Matrix trilogy. Who better to tell the full story of The Matrix than the 2 programs who've seen them all? The Architect alone created 6 versions of The Matrix, aided by the Oracle in the later versions. A spin-off starring him or both characters could feature every iteration, showing how they changed over time. Though the Architect himself is certainly not an action hero, he would have both the Seraphim and the agents to back him up on his adventures, facing off against the ones who existed before Neo. This spin-off could also address whether the Architect himself changed with each new Matrix iteration. In the original Paradise version, for example, could he have looked or dressed more like artistic depictions of the Judeo-Christian god? Similarly, could the Oracle's appearance have resembled that of oracles of classical antiquity, like those found in ancient Greece? The Analyst, meanwhile, has only created the 7th Matrix, but that doesn't mean he's not worthy of a spin-off of his own. Perhaps such a film could show how he overthrew the Architect in the first place. This would also provide a good opportunity to elaborate on events referenced in Resurrections, including his mass purging of rebellious programs, which might give some much-needed closure for characters such as the Oracle, Ramachandra, and Kamala. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite movies are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.